guys, Stephanie again. So video number 2, meal plan tips. Now this is important because when I first started, you learn a couple things about certain food groups and things and how your meal plan works. So it's always a bit of an adjustment. And I'm doing this video here to help guide you through the meal plan so that you learn all these little tips and tricks and guide you through. Now, I'm using here as a reference the Portion Fix meal plan. Now, the Portion Fix meal plan, the 21-day fixed meal plan, the 80-day obsession meal plan, all of the meal plans have been changed to this process. Now, they differ very little from 80-day obsession, but Portion Fix and 21-day fix are mirrored. 80-day obsession just has a few little differences, but still the same guidelines, the same basic, which is you eat all your food groups in the right portion and in the right balance for you. So the first thing you have to do, regardless of what meal plan you are following, is you need to do your calculation where you determine based off your weight, then there's the plus and the minus, and then there's your calorie intake. That is going to tell you what plan you fall under. Now, it's plan A, B, C, D, E, and depending on what, like 80-day obsession went all the way to like F, because again, that program is very different. So you want to follow the meal plan for the program that you are doing, but Portion Fix is a really good meal plan for maybe in between programs. And that's why they're all mirroring each other, because it's all coming from the same foundation. Now, whatever meal plan you fall under when you calculate your calorie intake is going to tell you, and it looks a little different, but they're all the same, is it's going to tell you on depending on what meal plan you fall under, is how many containers you're going to eat a day per your food group. So for meal plan A, it is 3 green, that's your veggies, 2 purple, that's your fruits, 4 reds, that's your proteins, and then 2 yellow, carbs, 1 blue, healthy fats, 1 orange, seeds and nuts, and then 2 teaspoons, which is the only container you don't get, is the little teaspoon, because we all have a teaspoon at home. So you have to eat that every day if you're on plan A. Now, if you're on plan B, C, D, the container list goes up. And the one thing about our meal plans that a lot of people don't realize is that actually the more you weigh, the more you eat. Because to lose weight does not mean you deprive yourself. You need to give your body everything that it needs. And as your weight starts to come down, you will begin to recalculate to see what meal plan you fall under. But once you find out what your containers are, what meal plan you fall under today or whatever day 1 is for you, that's when you go to the list of foods per container. Now you get these containers with your package, and this is what you use to measure your food 90% of the time. And I'll explain why only 90%. But these 3.5 years, I have multiple sets. I have 1 at work, I have 2 at home. I have it at my mom's house if I'm cooking there and eating there. I still use these 3.5 years later. I can eyeball my food very well when I'm eating out, but these are so handy dandy that I use them at home. I know I'm eating enough and I'm not overeating, because undereating is an issue as well. So, green container. Here's your list of foods. And again, 21-day fix, 80-day obsession, it does not matter. They all have the calculation. They will all tell you what meal plan you fall under per your calorie intake, and they will all give you the list of foods. The list of foods are almost identical from program to program with minor changes in some. And the online is the best version now, because when they update the lists and they add plantains, which they just did a few months ago, super excited because I love plantains, that went into the yellow, and they told you how to calculate that, that portion into your yellow. So the on-demand will always be updating, always giving you new, but these hard copies sometimes, come in handy. Now the green is, it'll tell you kale, cooked or raw. Now, if you're doing it cooked, it's already smushy. It fits in here easy. If you're doing it raw, you need to smush. When I put my salad in here, my spinach, I smush, because she says if it fits, I get to eat it. So you're not overdoing it. Don't be like, oh my God, it's bulging out. But when you're putting lettuces, raw, fresh lettuce, spinach, kale, if it's not cooked, you really need to squish it in there, because it's volumized. You're not going to get enough. If it's raw, it normally fits in there really super easy. So things like kale, collard greens, spinach, raw or cooked, you use your green container. Now it says Brussels sprouts, chopped. So if you chop up your Brussels sprouts, you just fill your container. If you're eating them whole, you would count 5 medium. Now, because sometimes it's hard to know the difference between what's small, what's medium, what large, we all differ, you can always use this container to measure your veggies. and know that you're not under eating and you're not going to overeat. So when I make the Brussels sprouts and I cut them into 4 pieces, because they're no longer whole anymore, I still use this to measure them. Broccoli chopped up. Asparagus, 10 large spears is 1 green in asparagus. Well, when I eat asparagus, I don't really cook it long. I have it diced up in veggie stir fries. And I'll do that with asparagus, onions, and peppers, and maybe some Brussels sprouts. When I make stir fries, I make my stir fry, I dice and chop as I want, and then I just use a green container to measure it. Is that 100% on this meal plan? Maybe not. But you're still getting your green veggie in, and you're not, it's veggies. So it's not going to break the bank if you maybe ate 1 extra spear of asparagus because you didn't do 10 large separate. But if you're making a stir fry like me, then slice up your veggies, cook your veggies, and then use this to measure it. Baby carrots. When you're eating baby carrots, one of my favorite snacks with peanut butter, you count 10 medium baby carrots. So if it's the regular fat little ones, that's 10. If you get the really, really skinny ones, you're gonna have to fill this container, because the really skinny mini ones that they don't have too often in my store, if they're really, really skinny, I measure them in here. If they're the regular chubby little baby carrots, I take 10 out, and that's how I measure. Lettuce. Every lettuce is good except for iceberg. Iceberg is not, it's all water. There's no nutrients in it. So do not get iceberg lettuce. It does not count. And just take a look at the veggie list. Check off the things that you like so that you know how to make your meals. That's how I started. I went through each list. I highlighted the foods that I liked to eat that were on the list, and then I made my meals from there. Purple container. Most of your food, your purple, will go in here to measure blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, cantaloupe, watermelon. Grapefruit is either divided, like you cut the grapefruit like you cut up an orange, and then you use this to measure it, or you do half of a grapefruit, the large ones. And grapefruits mainly are just large anyways. The one thing with the purple that I never followed until 80 Day Obsession is banana. It says for a banana, half a large is 1 purple. Well, what's large? I have bananas right here. This is a good example. So I buy a lot of bananas. So here's my bananas, right? Is this large? Because I kind of think this is medium. So if it's medium and I'm supposed to eat half a large, does that mean I eat 3/4 of a medium? What happens to the other quarter? Now, my feather babies eat bananas, but what if they're not here right now? And I don't have anyone to share 1/4 of a banana. I can't throw out 1/4 of a banana. That's a waste. So it's not going to break the bank. And I'll tell you why on 80 Day Obsession I followed that rule half. But for 21 Day Fix, Portion Fix, any other program, just eat 1 banana. 1 banana is 1 purple. It's not going to break the bank. And it's a banana. It's potassium. It's really good for you. I don't buy really large bananas. So to me, what's large, what's medium? I just ate 1 banana, and that was 1 purple. Now, bananas are great for us women. Grab it, stick it in your purse. You always have a snack with some almonds. It's a really good snack to have on the go if you're an on-the-go person. So, went over purple. Red. 1 scoop of Shakeology from your bag, the scoop's inside, or if you're on the packets, 1 packet is 1 red. You do not use the red container to measure your Shakeology. It's 1 scoop that's in the bag, or it's 1 packet if you're on the packets, and that is 1 red. Now, let's say your shake, you're gonna make it with fruit. Use your purple container to measure it. Banana, raspberries, blueberries, pineapple, mango. Dice it up, frozen or fresh. Use this to measure it. If you want to add spinach, certain flavors of Shakeology, everything basically but cafe latte, you can put spinach or kale into your shake. I love spinach, fresh spinach. Use your green container to measure it. Then you have the regular meats. Now, chicken breasts, lean ground turkey or chicken, any type of fish. You have game if you like it. I like bison, but if you're gonna use red meat, it's here. It's the leanest version of red meat that you can find. 80-20 is the normal red meat. 80% meat, 20% fat. You wanna try to go for 85-15 or 90-10 if you can. I have bought 80-20. It was on sale. It was a big packet. I bought it. When I cooked it, I made sure to take off out that extra fat in the pan. And I never put oil in my pan when I was using the 80-20 meat, because all the fat that comes out of it would be part of my tablespoon of oil that I would normally add to a large pot of meat. So just be careful with the 80-20. Watch the oil intake, but you can still eat it. Use your red container to measure it. If you're using, I don't have it out right now, but let's say this is red. If you're gonna make meatballs or burgers, take the raw meat mixture, season it however you wanna season it. When you're making your meatballs, add your egg, your breadcrumbs, like that's how I do it, and I add seasonings. Take the raw meat, put it in your red container. Remember, this is red. Put it in the container, then take it out, and that's one red. Now, if you're making a burger, you can make one big fat burger, or you can make 2 small burgers, 2 sliders. Same thing with the meatballs if you were making meatballs. You would put it into the red container raw, take it out. I make one big ball, I split it in half. I either make 2 big meatballs, and that's 1 red, or I would take the halves and make those halves and make 4 small meatballs. Normally, the 4 small meatballs is the way that I go. So I know that for those small meatballs, because it's measured out, is 1 red. And that's how I pre-make all my meatballs. Yogurt is your red. Shakeology, like we talked about, is a red. Ricotta cheese, cottage cheese. Additional protein powders, if you purchase them for any reason, that would be a red. A veggie burger is a red. And turkey bacon. 4 slices of reduced fat turkey bacon, which most of them are anyways, is a red. So you can have some eggs with some turkey bacon, some whole wheat toast, and there's a really good breakfast. Now, the one thing with the eggs that I want to point out with the red container is that you will notice 2 large eggs is 1 red, or 8 large egg whites is 1 red. Now, 8 large egg whites is a lot. It makes a big thing of omelet or scrambled eggs. And if you can eat that, that's fine. For me, it was too much. So what I do when I make my eggs is I either have 2 large eggs, crack them, scramble them, over easy them, however I like them, or I take 1 large egg, which is half of a red, and I take 4 egg whites, another half of a red, and I make 1 red. And you can do this with your containers. You don't have to have a full purple if you just need a little bit for a yogurt parfait. As long as you eat 3 whole containers throughout the day, and that's how many you were given through your for the day, how you eat it is up to you. Unless you're on 80-day obsession and the rules change, then they'll tell you exactly when to eat it. But you can take half of a green, half of a purple, and make a snack. Half of a blue, use it now, use it later. As long as you eat the equivalent of what you're supposed to. If you get 3 purples, you eat 3 purples in the day. It doesn't matter how you break your containers up. As long as you just eat the number of containers that you're supposed to every single day. So please feel free to do 1.5, 2 in one meal. If you want to make yourself a big salad, use 2 greens. If you want to have 2 burger meats, 2 burger patties, then have 2 burger patties, but use the red container, make sure you're measuring, and eat 2 reds in one sitting. That's perfectly fine. It's okay, as long as you eat the equivalent of what you're supposed to per your calorie intake. And that's what I do with eggs. I take 1 large egg, 4 egg whites, and I make 1 red. Or sometimes I just do 2 large eggs. I don't do the 8 egg whites because it's just a massive plate of eggs and it's too much for me to intake in one sitting. So I don't do that. But feel free to use this as you want. If you want like a surf and turf and you do half of, when it comes to steak, you really want to, red meat, a lean steak is like a sirloin, a flank steak, those kind of steaks, very lean and fat. You could do half of a red container as a flank steak, half of shrimp, and you got yourself a surf and turf. Or do 1 red as a flank steak, 1 red as a shrimp, because shrimp is on your red, and have a surf and turf with some veggies and sweet potato. Like, use your containers how you want. Then we go on to the yellow, which is your carbs. That's your sweet potato, your yams, your quinoa, your beans, your lentils, your brown rice, your corn on the cob or corn in general, green beans, and edamame. Those are the 3 that you don't look as a carb, but they are a carb. Corn, peas, edamame. Now, the first time I did 21 Day Fix, the first week, I was eating corn and peas as a veggie. And I didn't realize it was on the carb list because I didn't read all the way through. I just assumed it's your beans, your sweet potato, you know, your pastas, your rice. No. Corn, green beans, edamame are carb. They're on the yellow list. So you want to use that to measure your yellow. And that's the only ones that are like your oatmeal, your pasta, your couscous, crackers, cereal, bread. Obviously, anything that's waffles, pancakes, bread, bagel, tortillas. Tortilla is whole wheat or tortilla corn. The rest of it, your pastas, your crackers, they're all whole wheat. Cereal, whole grain, low sugar. And use your yellow container to measure out your cereal. When you're doing this, especially in the beginning, really follow the guidelines to get your results. And then when you start to get to a place where you're just maintaining, you don't have to be so strict, but don't go overboard and lose yourself, because then you got to go all the way back to the beginning. But when you're first doing this and you're having a bowl of cereal, which I would do on the weekends, I don't have cereal during the week, but when I was on 21 Day Fix and I wanted cereal on Saturday, I had that whole grain, low sugar cereals, and I used my yellow container to measure it. And I followed it by the book, got my results, and then I was able to loosen up a little bit after I got there. But you can lose yourself real fast, so make sure you don't. But that's the yellow. And the popular on the yellow is the sweet potato, the brown rice, the whole wheat pastas. I love quinoa, lentils, beans. Those are all, use your yellow. If you like rice and beans, make your brown rice, make your beans. Use your containers to measure it. You can have rice and black beans. Blue container, avocado, almonds, cashews, peanuts, coconut milk, feta cheese, goat cheese, mozzarella cheese, basically your cheeses. Hummus is all on the blue container list. Now, I can't eat cheese and I can't eat hummus. I'm allergic to chickpeas and I can't eat cheese because it makes me break out. So I use the blue container for the avocado, the nuts, and the shredded coconut, which is on the blue list now. And I use the shredded coconut in my Shakeology or on my fruit. I sprinkle it on my fruit. Avocado, I use it when I have tacos or I make guacamole. I use my container to measure. And almonds, 12 whole raw almonds was something that I always had in my purse, grab and go. Baby carrots, almonds, banana, things that I can put in my purse and always have with me to eat. That was a huge deal when doing 21 Day Fix. And trust me, it saves you when you end up somewhere you weren't planning on being longer, stuck in traffic, and you're hungry and it's time to eat. Keeps you from stopping at those fast food places, trust me. 20 pistachios. I count when it says count, I count. So I would get 20 pistachios. Salt-free, they could be roasted, but no salt. And that is a good snack too as well. And then if for your cheese lovers, this is where you would use your cheese container. Your blue container is your cheese. If you want chicken parm, bake your breaded chicken cutlets. Use this to measure per chicken. You would put a little bit of shredded mozzarella on top of it, and then your pasta sauce, and then you can have whole wheat pasta, and there's your meal. You can have chicken parm. Orange, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, flaxseed, olives, 10 medium. If you're eating olives, and I love olives in my salad, you don't put them in here because you're only going to get like 2. You count 10 olives, and then you put that in whatever you're eating. Peanuts, coconut unsweetened is the orange container. I apologize. See, this is why you have to read, because at one point I think it was on the blue container. And it's not a deal breaker because coconut milk is under the blue and that's a healthy fat. So not a deal breaker, but check your meal plan. If you're on 21 Day Fix, find out what is in your orange container, what's in your blue, because they differ very different in each program, very different. Little things. See, and then portion fixed dressings. Now, if you make the dressings in the book, 21 Day Fix has its recipes too for salad dressings. You use this to measure it. If you buy outside dressings, this is what you use to measure it. You don't want to overdress your salad. You can have a delicious, healthy, beautiful salad, and you can bust on it completely by putting too much dressing or very heavy fat dressing. So don't do that. Teaspoon. Extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, flaxseed oil, walnut oil, pumpkin seed oil, nuts and butters, peanut, almond, cashew, etc. Seed butters, pumpkin, sunflower, sesame, tahini. Now the teaspoon, because I cook with sprays, coconut spray, olive oil spray, I don't put oil in my foods. So my teaspoon is always saved for peanut butter and almond butter with my carrots and so forth. But if you're going to cook chicken breasts and you're going to use oil, 1 tablespoon of oil for 4 chicken breasts is 1 teaspoon per chicken breast, because 4 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. I know this is math. You don't have to break it down. Just use spray if you want your life easier. But if you're gonna cook with oil, you have to count that as a teaspoon. And if you're like, oh my God, but I cook everything with oil, but you're using very light oil, watch your oil intake, and you still want that little teaspoon of peanut butter for your shake, it's not gonna kill you if you I don't wanna. You gotta really watch your guidelines. I hate to tell people like, it's okay if you just have 1 extra teaspoon. 1 extra teaspoon measured. You have to be very careful with your nuts and your oils. They really need to be measured because they're very good for you, but you need them in the small amounts. If you use cooking oil and cooking spray, when you're cooking, your teaspoons are going to be saved for your nut butters or whatever else you want to use it for. If you're making a salad the way I do, I season my salads. I don't use dressings. I do a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, freshly squeezed lemon or lime, salt and pepper. That's how I season my salads, my pasta salads, almost everything. I don't use this for oils and dressings. But if I get a really good dressing, like a basil dressing that I see at the store and I really like it, then I use this to measure it. If you're someone like me, I get cellulite on my legs. If I really watch my oil intake and I'm really good with it and I do the good sources and I stick to my teaspoons, you can see the cellulite diminish. If I go heavy on the fats and the oils and the fried foods and stuff, that's where the cellulite comes popping back out. It's part of how my body processes food. So really be careful with your teaspoons. If you're gonna cook a big pot of soup and you just put 1 tablespoon of oil, you're not gonna count that because it's gonna be divided by how many bowls. Same thing with like chili. It makes so many servings of it, and 1 tablespoon at the beginning when you're doing your veggies, it's not gonna be counted. But if you're just making chicken breasts and you got 4 chicken breasts and you put 1 tablespoon of olive oil to cook it in, well then that's 1 teaspoon per chicken breast, and therefore that's your teaspoon. So if you have any questions on that one, message me, we can talk it through. And then you have beverages substitutions. If you're somebody who likes the milks, the almond milk, the coconut milk, it's always gonna tell you how to calculate that. Cheats and treats, it tells you, especially in 21 Day Fix, you get 3 cheats a week, but you gotta follow the cheat guideline in the meal plan, where you can sacrifice a carb for that day, which I did 3 times a week with no problem for chocolate. But it's up to you. You don't have to do it. You can follow it, but follow the treats guidelines in your meal plan. If you're doing 80-day obsession, you don't have any. Treat day's refeed day, and you'll learn about that if you do that program. Freebies. You can drink as much water. You're supposed to drink half of your water weight in ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you're supposed to drink 75 ounces of water a day. I drink a gallon. And it's easy for me to drink a gallon of water because I love water. I drink it all day. So I can do that, no problem. If you're someone who doesn't drink a lot of water, you're gonna have to start making a conscious effort to getting that in, at least half of your body weight in ounces. That's your goal. Stay away from the sodas, stay away from the juices. If you get those cans of LaCroix, I might be saying it wrong, where it's carbonated water with natural flavors, literally those are the 2 ingredients: carbonated water, natural flavor, like they come in lemon and lime and all these different flavors. Those things are okay, but you can't just drink that all day. You do need regular water. Don't count the water in your coffee or in your tea, just plain water. You really need to get that in every day. It's extremely important. If you like to flavor your water because you just think water's boring, put fresh fruit, frozen fruit. Get a jug, fill it up with water, put cucumber and berries and mint, and stick that in the fridge and let it like just come into a flavor. Oh my God, it's really good. If you're like, ew, that's gross, or I'm not gonna make it, then just drink water. But it tells you here how to make water. I love lemon in my water, lime in my water. It tells you how to make, different things. Herbs and spices are all free. You can use as many spices as you want, as many herbs as you love. I'm big in spices. That's how you flavor your food. If your food does not have flavor, it's gonna be bleh, bland, whack. And it's not gonna be fun, and you're gonna feel like you're depriving yourself. Flavor your food the way you like to eat it. If you like spicy food, add spices. If you like to have, think of the foods that you love to eat out that aren't great for you. Think of the restaurants that you go to and figure out what those spices are that's in it. Most of those menus tell you everything that they're putting into it. Cilantro lime. I love cilantro lime. So I use cilantro lime. Herbs and spices, ginger, garlic, all free. Use as much of as you want. Flavor your food. Cinnamon, extracts, vanilla, caramel. Anything that's an extract, anything that's a cinnamon, nutmeg, all free. You don't have to count it. Watch your salt intake. Be very careful with sodium intake. As women, we bloat. So please be careful with your salt. That's where you really want to control. You have to salt your food, especially if you're using fresh ingredients and fresh food and nothing's canned and jarred. You need to season and salt your food. You need the salt because it's going to be bland. Blech. We need flavor. If you're going to buy something that already is canned or jarred, like my tomato sauce, already has sodium in it, it's really good ingredients, all clean ingredients, but it still has sodium in it, I don't put too much more salt. I'm very careful with my salt when I'm making my meatballs or something with the sauce. When I'm making straight fresh, not using any outside jarred stuff, I salt my food very well because it needs flavor. And I normally make large pots of things, so it needs a good amount of salt. And then seasoning and condiments, mustard is free, no ketchup, that's all sugar. Sorry, no ketchup, that is all sugar. Vinegars are free, herbs and spices, like we said, are free. Hot sauce is free, flavor extracts. And they even have some portion fix. They have herb mixes that, you know, if you like Mexican, if you like Italian, they'll tell you how to make it. But you can just buy the Mrs. Dash. Mrs. Dash is actually my go-to flavoring and seasoning. No salt's in it, so I can control my salt intake. I can put the salt myself, but she has Mexican, Southwest, Italian, regular table blend. Those are really good to have in your kitchen when you're cooking. And then there's recipes. Tons and tons of recipes. And because you have the on-demand, you have a show called Fixate. It's a cooking show. It has tons of, and you can see them making it. Like I learned from Food Network watching cooking shows. Now I watch Portion Fix on demand, and I'm really learning so many different recipes. I love watching people cook and people making things because it gives me ideas. And now when I watch Food Network, because it's still my favorite show, they're making most of the time unhealthy meals, but I get all these ideas and I start like, well, I don't like that, but I can do it with this. And then I'll get in the kitchen and I'll try it. Watch the Fixate cooking show. Watch how much food she makes and how good it is. And try it yourself. But maybe you'll season it different than her. Maybe you'll take something she make and make a little, you know, your twist on it. You have to eat what you like. It's the only way this is going to work. You have to take what you like. You have to take the foods that you like, even the foods that are really, really bad for you. I love eating fried chicken. So I make baked fried chicken and it comes out crispy and everything. And I can do a show on it one day. I'm making baked fried chicken and it's meal plan approved. Chicken Parmesan, I can make that, meal plan approved. Chicken breaded chicken cutlets baked in the oven. I still get that crisp on the outside. I'm not missing out on anything by not frying my food. I just learned how to make it differently so that I'm getting everything that I love. I'm getting the foods that I like, seasoned the way I like. It's all about flavor. You have to flavor your food. I brine my chicken. I use spices in all of my food because you need flavor. But maybe you're new in the kitchen. Maybe you don't cook very much and you have to just get started with the basics. This meal plan tells you what you have to eat. The portion, the right balance, but you can take all of these fresh ingredients. It's all fresh food. And make the stuff that you like. Make the chicken parm. Make the baked fried chicken. Make, sausage, peppers, and onions. One of the things I love to have, especially in the wintertime. And sometimes in the summer, I like to grill it. I use turkey sausage. I have it in my fridge. I'm making it this week. Turkey sausage. And I have this sun-dried tomato pesto that I made at my mom's house last week. And then I realized I was just going to add a little bit different ingredient to it this week and take it up a notch. Pasta puttanesca. I love that. That's all fresh ingredients if you make it fresh. Capers, things like that. Like I love all of these foods, but I've learned what I like by ordering out at restaurants and eating it and be like, oh shit, that's good. Or from my mom, things that I've eaten from my culture. I'm Portuguese, so there's a lot of things that we like. I can still take the foods that I liked, and a lot of it, because Portuguese is Mediterranean, you actually don't have to change a lot of it. Maybe a little bit less oil in the pot when you're cooking it, not frying it, grilling it, baking it in the oven. But a lot of the Portuguese food that I love, I can still eat it and it's approved. It's just the portions that were off for me. Like, I was always eating too many carbs, not enough veggie. That's what I learned with this. Is just that eating all the foods that I love from my childhood, from my adulthood, that I like eating out, from all the fast food places that I used to love to eat. I just made a burger today. I went live. I was meal prepping in my kitchen. You can check that out on my public page. I made burgers. I made chicken breast. I made veggies. Like I made all of these things. And they're delicious and they're full of flavor. So if you want to check that out, you can go on and check that out on my public page. And I'm always on my public page, meal prepping in the kitchen, and showing people how you just have to take the foods that you love with all of the ingredients that you love, all the flavors that you want. I love Cajun food, so I'll use Cajun. I love Mexican, so I'll use Mexican seasonings. You know, I'll make tacos, I'll make fajitas. I'll make all of that here, using all of the flavors that I love. And that's what this meal plan will do for you if you read it, you start to figure out what works, what doesn't, what you like, what you don't, and you make it part of your life. As long as you eat the right balance and the right portion, get your veggies in, get your fruits in, get your carbs in, get your proteins in, get your healthy fats in, you're going to not only feel good, because your body's getting real food and it's getting stuff that it wants and it needs. It's going to reward you with weight loss and results, but you're going to really feel good when you eat. You're going to notice the difference of when you eat crappy food, you feel like crap. And when you eat good food, you feel good. You feel satisfied. You feel full. And you don't feel like crappy. And then you don't have that guilt because you know you ate something you weren't supposed to eat. So that self-deprivation goes away. But this meal plan, it tells you how much you have to eat and what balance and what portion. But you make your meals. Make the stuff that you like. And if there's something that you really like that's unhealthy and you want to make it healthier, let me know. I can make fried chicken. I can make chicken parm, sausage, peppers, and onions. You know, things that are high in fat. I've made a meal plan approved. So let me know what it is that you like. Is it Chinese food? Is it barbecue? Is it, you know, what is it? And let me help you make it 21 day approved. Will certain things be swapped out? Yes. Will you be frying? No. But you can still have foods that you love. So that's it, guys. That's just a tidbit on the meal plan. There's a lot more that goes into it, but it's very personal to you and your life and what you like to eat. So that's where you need to reach out to me, reach in this group so we can figure out how to make this part of your life. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.